Hello and welcome to another episode of Amon Sheeran's Pirate Radio podcast. On today's episode, we have another illustrious guest, recurring guest, Gerard Conley. Gerard, what's up, man?
Hello, hello. I'm very excited to be a two-time visitor on the Amon Sheeran's Pirate Pod Radio podcast.
You got it exactly. You joined the
Yeah.
elite ranks of Steve, Sean, and my girlfriend. So, congrats.
Okay, that's a good group to be a part of. I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, there you go. So, I hear you're starting a podcast too. What can the people expect?
Yeah. So right now I'm kind of just I don't know. I've always been really interested in podcasts, more and more so over the years. I think they're a really fun, cool, like raw way to communicate with an audience. Like, the format of a podcast is to just be authentic and just be yourself and just talk about whatever you want to talk about. And yeah, that's always really appealed to me. And yeah, I got this cool microphone here. I bought a couple other little things that'll help make the podcasting experience seem more legit. Right now I'm planning on talking about track and field news, my own running, other people's running, people I'm friends with, people I'm fans of, whatever, if I can get guests. Um, so far I gotta get a good first episode out and just see where it goes from there. It'll probably just be by myself at first.
Yeah, no, that's how I started too, and I just think, like you said, it's a great outlet. Talk about whatever you want, just be yourself, and people.
So you kind of just your first episode is by yourself.
Yeah, I was actually just talking about like wrestling, something completely random.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. Just gonna
Get it out there.
ramble, talk about whatever is on my mind, and I don't know. I guess write down some sort of script, like how
Yeah,
you did with this, and I'm sure you do with all the other ones.
yeah. Just have a few notes, a couple guidelines, and then just go for it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I see you doing a lot of big things with the Smithtown Running Company. You got the live shows, the all these different events, and how's that been going for you?
yeah, exactly. So that's I guess part of the inspiration for why I want to like start a podcast, or I guess more so what I've always wanted to, but why I finally feel confident and comfortable enough to do that. Because yeah, every Monday I work at Smithtown Running Company, Stable Running Company, and myself and my colleague Mike Petrina, he's the manager of Smithtown Running Company. We both go live on Instagram every Monday, and we talk about stuff that's just going on in the community, and um, some virtual events that we've been hosting over the past few months. We talk about those, some really impressive performances, some really cool performances. Just whatever else is going on in the Long Island running community. We try to cover it all, and yeah, it's been really fun so far doing that and being able to just yeah, I don't know, give people some content to listen to and watch on a weekly basis has been fun so far.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that because there's not a ton of like Long Island representation other than
Yeah,
local mile.
exactly.
A few things that can really pump up the Long Island running scene. So
Yeah, and that's something that I personally truly like. I feel somewhat strongly about that. Long Island is missing a bit of uh just like a more like
like
coverage
it-
for what was that?
like representation coverage.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Representation coverage for the more competitive running scene, the running scene that involves people who are truly passionate about the sport. Um, there's a lot of us out there on like from Nassau County to Suffolk County. There's plenty of people who are I mean, look at the high school runners. You have section 11 and section 8 are two of like, I mean, it's very, you can have your own argument about which section is the best, but it's very easy to say that Long Island has two of the best sections in the state between Nassau and Suffolk. And yeah, year after year, there's kids going D1, going to big D1 schools. Year after year, there's kids running, 4:15 in the mile, well under 5 minutes for the girls for the mile, and then well under 4:40 for the 1500 for girls. Section 11 has a lot of really talented kids, and they go to college, and then they either come back to Long Island and train on their own, and don't like have a whole lot going on about it, or they go somewhere else. They go to the city, they go to another state, or they just don't run anymore. So trying to like a personal goal of mine with this, like with the running store and stuff, is to build the running community into something that has more to offer for people who want to run competitively after high school and college.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that, and I think you're definitely on that right track. Speaking of some big events, you competed in was it the Trials of Miles segment race? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, Trials of Miles. It was the Chase the Throne
Okay.
virtual segment series, if you will. Yeah, Trials of Miles is I guess an event management organization that's doing a lot of really cool things with the New York City and really the running community across the United States. Because not only was there the New York City Chase the Throne, excuse me, there was also the Boston one. There was there was one in Austin, Texas, and there was one in San Francisco. And yeah, Trials of Miles is doing a lot of really cool, unique things throughout the pandemic to keep people engaged, keep people interested in the sport, and keep athletes training for things. Not only did I get to compete in that virtual series, but they had an in-person track meet, or two in-person track meets in the fall, and an in-person half marathon up at Rockland Lake State Park. And they're finding ways to do it. They're finding ways to give competitive runners a chance to compete, which is really important for fans and for the athletes.
I thought they had a really interesting setup in terms of the segment race. What was that process like, racing and going against some of the top guys in the scene like Brendan Martin?
Yeah, it was kind of nerve-wracking because it was a bracket, and it was 30 or 16 people on one side, 16 people on the other side. And you're just paired against people. And the first round of the bracket was totally random. So thank God I wasn't. But for all I know, I could have been paired up against Joe Stillen or Brendan Martin the first round and been knocked out. Thank God I wasn't. But that's something I've never seen before or been a part of. And yeah, it was cool to see that happen.
Yeah, definitely. I thought it was really creative, and I think that's what the track and running community needs, is like more creative outlets for people.
Yeah, especially now. There's nothing not like there is in-person stuff going on, but it's just different. So you gotta keep being creative.
Yeah, and speaking, we're touching on a little bit, but COVID times, how has your training process been in these difficult times?
Like my training, you said?
Yeah, like training
Yeah.
with COVID and trying to
Yeah. It's been good, honestly. I have always been somebody that when I came home for like the summer break, like during college and stuff, and I came home for summer training, or winter break, and I trained throughout the winter, I would always do better at home. Just when I kind of was by myself, I felt like I'm very easily distracted with just like college life and just
right.
stuff going on. I mean, you
I
remember
hear you.
we
Yeah.
were in college together briefly, so
Yeah.
I don't know. So being home as like stuck at home with COVID and everything, as boring as it has been and everything, it really has been giving me the opportunity to really focus on my training and just go months and months and months without getting distracted and without really having too many hiccups. With that said, I mean, you can't act like it's all sunshine and rainbows. It's definitely you have to really power through those times where it's just the same exact shit every single day.
Right.
And just, you can have days that your mental health just feels like a pile of garbage. And you can have days where or weeks where that's going on, or you're having some nagging injury that you just go home and just work from home and just dwell on it all day. So that stuff has been really annoying. But in the grand scheme of things, being able to just stay on top of my diet and my sleep and all that stuff, as well as training, has really helped. Honestly, it's been a positive rather than negative, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's an important skill to have, just to be able to do it on your own, because at the end of the day, you're the one out there running. You might be running for a team, but you're the one out there that has to put the work in. So I think that's
Yeah, and I feel like the one skill that I've definitely gotten from like just training during COVID is my ability to push myself
Mm.
without anybody around me. Like pretty much since I guess what was it? March,
Yeah,
middle of
started
March
like
that we
started in March. Yeah.
yeah, since then I've done I think I've done only 2 workouts with another person.
Jesus.
Like I've done runs with other people. But yeah, I've only done there was one workout I can't even call it a full workout. It was like the first 800 of a workout. Me and my friend Michael Leary, we had he was doing like cut down 800s and I was doing cut down repeats and our rest was different, but the only thing that was the same was our first 800.
That's right.
Uh, so I did one workout of 1 800 of one workout with Mike, and then my cousin and we did a fartlek together once. Those are the only 2 workouts I've done with anybody since COVID.
Yeah, there you go. So a lot of adversity to deal with, and like you said, you just kind of have to have that mindset of like I'm just going to get through this and push through. So
Yeah, and that's what was cool about the virtual series. I mean, I've been doing a lot of virtual racing, honestly,
right.
and that's what has been helping with that skill of pushing yourself like without anybody around is obviously working out by yourself is one thing, but to get to like that race intensity to really push it to that ceiling of like race level effort is a whole nother story, especially when you're by yourself. And I can't say that I've had a race level intensity like by myself, like a max out effort yet. I don't think. Being by yourself and reaching that level is like
Tough.
just redlining, like totally going crazy. It's hard to do by yourself, but I've gotten pretty close a couple times.
There you go. Nice. So first of all, I don't want to skip over this, but you had a great performance in the trials of miles and you ended up coming in second in the whole thing, right?
Yeah, I got second. The first round was the 2.5 mile segment, a little less than 2.5, 2.5 mile, whatever, around the East River Park that
Okay.
runs under the Williamsburg Bridge. Yeah, I made it to that round. The second round was the Williamsburg Bridge. It was like a 1.2 mile segment just over the bridge. Got that one. And then the third round was my first like really tough one. I was up against Teddy Shum. He runs for Central Park Track Club, and I was a little nervous going into that one, but I figured it was a longer distance. I'm better at longer distances, and yeah, I pretty much tied my 8K PR in Central Park for the
Mm.
5 mile bridle path loop, which was that course is tough. So I was really happy about that. And then yeah, the last round was Brooklyn Bridge. There was 4 of us: myself, Joe Stillen, Brendan Martin, and Jeremy Arthur. And I got second out of the 4 of us. To be fair, Brendan didn't get to run because his Achilles was hurting him.
All right. Well, yeah, that's still really good either way.
Yep.
And, yeah,
Yeah.
congratulations on that.
Joe Stillen is he has a 5K PR of 13:30. So to even be in like the same conversation as somebody like that is I guess an honor. I guess you could say, that level is crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And I hope you keep pushing it and going for it. On that note, what are some of your running goals for the future?
Um, right now, I'm just training right now.
Right.
Brendan Martin is my coach. Shout out to BMAR. He's been coaching me since August, I think. And yeah, I mean, working with him has been great because I've always been somebody that like I know I can handle high mileage and I know I can handle some like big workouts, but I feel like my training would always go like kind of like having an injury or something weird and then getting healthy and then just ramping up like, all right, I can handle this high mileage, I can handle these big workouts, and then back down and then back up and then back down. So working with Brendan has been really helpful in staying consistent. And yeah, right now, I mean, my goal is to just not do a virtual race for maybe a couple months or so.
No,
I
hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, I've done all the SRC ones. I've done the Trials of Miles ones. So, um, and just try to do consistent training, try to build my mileage and get to a point where I can hold higher mileage at like a relatively comfortable effort where it doesn't feel like it's putting me in like a state of fatigue all the time. Because it's one thing to do high mileage and survive high mileage, but it's another thing to do high mileage and kind of thrive and feel great while you're doing it.
Right. Yeah, just got to be careful. You don't want to be too tough for your own good. But
Exactly, exactly. Sometimes I try to put on my
okay.
yeah, just try to be the hero of the day and just say, it doesn't matter. I'll just jump in the cold shower after my run. I'll be fine. But in reality, you have to listen to your body. And if you're not feeling good, doesn't matter if you can push through it, you still probably should listen.
Yeah. But I think either way, you're in good hands with Brendan Martin. I think he's a good coach and had
Definitely.
proven he could do it on a high level. So that's a good
Yeah.
coach for sure.
Something I really admire about him as a coach is just he looks at the person the same way he looks at the athlete.
Mhm.
Like you know, there's Gerard the person who has a career ambitions and certain things he wants to do with his life and has had certain history of whatever mental health issues or whatever it is. There's the person, and then there's the athlete that obviously has running goals and certain training tactics that are preferred, and learning how to work the two of them together, because a lot of coaches don't necessarily do that, and you can't have one without the other, in my opinion.
Yeah, the duality of men. It all perfectly balanced.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So a lot of exciting things going on in the track world. I noticed this past weekend, I don't know if you got a chance to check it out, the American Track League debuted on ESPN. I think it's going to be great for the sport, and there's a lot of other
Totally.
fun stuff
Y-
going on. So yeah,
yeah,
but
so I'm curious what your take is on that a little bit, because
yeah,
you mentioned that the other day when we were texting, and it sounded like you did some research. I only saw it briefly.
yeah. I didn't do like a ton of research, but I think it has the potential to be huge. Having like our answer for like the NBA, the NFL, the MLB, like an American Track League to have these events, and I really think it could help popularize the sport, especially if it's getting ESPN coverage. So I think it has the
Yeah.
potential to be huge. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and it has the name for it too. I mean,
yeah,
ATL, American Track League. That's you know, when you're sitting in a diner and somebody says, "What's on TV?" and they say, "Oh, American Track League," they won't have to really
guess
think
what?
too hard to figure out what that is. And I think sometimes that's important to keep the name of something a little bit simple, to just communicate to more people what exactly it is. And yeah, I mean, I think it's a great idea. I think it's something that track probably needs. We have the Diamond League. The Diamond League is, I'm not honestly, I don't know exactly how it works.
Yeah, it's like points. I think
Yeah, I definitely knew there was points. I don't know,
I don't really know either. Yeah, I know it's a
yeah,
unit.
but
That's about it. Yeah,
and from what I hear too, that like a lot of the athletes don't love racing like the full Diamond League and
yeah,
like trying to win like the championship, the title, whatever, because it is so much racing. And I'm sure a lot of people will run into that with the American Track League. But um, at the same time, if the meet coordinators keep that in mind and the league keeps it in mind that most athletes probably won't be wanting to run themselves into the ground, um, then they could probably create a schedule that will cater to athletes in a way that they'll want to show up and try to win the American Track Championship, I guess, or whatever the name of it will be. Just to have that title would be something that people want, and I'm sure there's a lot of money that'll be tied to that title, a lot of endorsement money tied to that title, and a lot of publicity. It'll be very easy to communicate to
right,
people again in that diner that are like, oh, what's on TV? The American Track League. Oh, who's the American Track like mile champion? Oh,
right.
it's
We would know. Centro.
so and so.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm excited to see how it works out.
yeah. I think it's going to be a lot of fun as long as they have the right people behind it. I think they could do a lot of fun stuff with like different clubs and relays, stuff like that. So I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Definitely. Um, yeah, it should be cool.
Yeah, another thing I'm looking forward to is your podcast. So everyone keep an eye out for that. But before I let you go, I got two questions that I ask every guest. Um, if you could have, the first one is, if you could have dinner with any dead celebrity or athlete, who would it be?
If I could have dinner with any dead celebrity or athlete, all right. Well, I mean, I feel like this is kind of like
Yeah, it's tough for runners.
no. My answer might be basic, but I'm gonna just say LeBron James or not LeBron James, Kobe Bryant.
Yeah,
Terrible confusion there.
yeah,
Kobe Bryant. Yeah, I mean, dude worked his ass off. I mean, I think I'm probably one of the many people who looked more into his life after he passed away. But yeah, I mean, just being an athlete who wants to push himself harder and harder every day, and coordinate that with a lifestyle um, involved with bettering sports in general, and not just focusing on myself as an athlete alone. I feel like he's an inspiration to everybody when it comes to that. So,
yeah.
and just, I mean, he died
He's
tragically.
tragic.
So
Yeah, he's
yeah, so it'd be cool to get to experience that.
yeah, he was definitely the ultimate competitor, and don't feel bad about being basis because that's like the top two answers I get are Steve Prefontaine and Kobe Bryant. So
Okay, all right. So I'm in the room with a lot of people
yeah,
then.
yeah. So last question, and everyone keep an eye out for when Gerard drops his podcast. The last question I have for you is, what would you like your outro song to be?
Oh, I actually thought about this because yeah, I saw you ask this earlier. So let's play "Breathe Deeper" by Tame Impala.
All right, cool. Thank you guys for listening.